and you are not then working with the universe. You are just giving up of your resonant field into the universe and saying, universe, you just look after everything and you just do everything. And then the universe looks back at you and does of the shrugging of the shoulders and goes, well, we are just being of the responding to your resonant frequency. And if your resonant frequency is sitting there of the nothingness, then the only thing that the universe can be of the responding to is of the nothingness. And then you are wondering why nothingness is of turning up. But this is the resonant frequency you are putting out into of the universe. So this is where what you are receiving. Whereas if you can be in of the momentum state, and this is much different to of the action state where you are doing busy, busy, busy all of the time.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Galactic Guidance. This is a fascinating episode. We're going to be differentiating between the state of momentum and the state of action. So when we surrender and we want to co-create with the universe, we don't just retreat back and do nothing, because then the universe will mirror that back to us. And we don't take the usual action and effort that we used to take, because then we're going against the tide. So what we need to do is get into a state of momentum. And this is what we explain in today's episode. Marcusbird channels Ameed, who is a high dimensional being from another planet, and Ameed explains the state of momentum as opposed to the state of action. Keep watching. It's a fascinating episode. It's Marcus and Eleni for Galactic Guidance. Hello, Marcus.
Hello. Hey, Eleni. How are you going?
I'm really, really good. I'm excited
Good.
for another episode with
Yay.
your spirit mentor, Ameed, who you channel.
That's the one. Yes. It's exciting.
Always excited for our conversations together. So
yes.
What we do every single week is you put yourself in a trance state and you bring in the energy of Ameed.
Yes.
And then we have a conversation and then we discuss it later
Go
on.
from there. Yeah, let's do that.
Just
Sounds
go
good.
ahead
Let's
and do that.
dive into it. All right. I'll see you on the other side.
See you then. So what Marcus is doing now is connecting into his spirit mentor, who is an energy called Ameed, who is a physical being living on an advanced planet in the Lyra star system. And you'll notice that Marcus's voice and the way he speaks takes on the energy of Ameed. And always love talking to this beautiful, magical light being.
Much of the joyness of Miss of the Eleni, and much of joy to be in of this of the energy, and we are much of the loving of the energetic quality of these of the conversations. And when we are coming into this space, we are sensing into all of the energies that are being of the watching this and are being of the connecting in. We are much of the joyness, much of the love.
Beautiful. Well, I mean, before I ask the question that I just had in my mind in that moment, given that you are feeling all the energies listening in at this moment, what are all the energies who are listening in at this moment primarily need to hear from you?
What we are being in of the connecting is into of the resonant field of the collective energies of those that are being in of the connecting and being in of the presence of this communication that we are being of the doing, Miss Eleni. And so as we are being in of the tuning in, because what you must be understanding is that there is no, we are not being in living in of the linear time space that you are being a living in. Therefore, we can be of the connecting into the collective connection and energies that will be appearing here at some point in of the linear time space. So as we are connecting in of this space, we are sensing into of the what you might be of the considering of the concern and of the worriness. There is much of the worriness that is underpinning of the resonant field of this of the collective human of the experience. There is much of the worriness, or what you would be experiencing as of the worriness. This is what we would be sensing as a heightened resonant frequency that is being of the shared by the collective resonant frequency energies of those that are being here and of the presence. This are worrying about much of the worrying about the linear of the time space. One of the things that we would be wishing for you to be of the understanding is when you are begin to work in of a spherical time space, you are beginning not to be of the worriness of what is maybe about to be of the appearing, or maybe what has been of the appearing. Because you can be moving through time and of the space and of the dimension and be in any spot or position that you are wishing to be in. So you don't need to be in of the worriness, because you can what you might be calling, you could transition yourself to any spot in of the time-space continuum and then be of the experiencing of that situation or of that event. And you can be seeing how that is then of the playing outness, and how you can be what you might be needing to be of the attending to that situation. But in this space, in this of the theme park of the experience, you are walking along of the linear time space, and therefore this allows for your connection to of the emotions of the worriness and of the fearness and of the concerness. But you have nothing to be of the worriness. There is many that are being of the looking after and being of the caring from a resonant frequency point of view, to be of the making sure that this unfolds in the most bestest of the way possible. We are here to be of the assistance and to be of the helping. So therefore you can be of the breathing in and of the breathing out, and be of the releasing this form of resonance of the worriness and of the, yes, of this heightened resonant frequency of the worriness.
So what I'm hearing you say is that because us humans have this belief around a linear time frame and timeline, I should say, that we are worried about certain things not happening. We're worried about perhaps not receiving what we want to receive, but we needn't worry because we are taken care of. So if I can just give an example of something happening in my personal life about this, which aligns with what you've just said about worry. So, as an example, at the moment, my funds, where I am receiving my funds from, are from borrowings. Is how I'm living, is from borrowings. In other words, the bank has lent me money to buy a house, but I didn't buy the house, but instead I'm living off the funds that the bank lent me. And I'm doing all the things I want to do. Like I've got a number of retreats happening. I'm going overseas next year a couple of times. And I'm not worrying because I know that at this time, even though the money is coming from borrowings, I know that eventually it's all going to be fine. So, and it is fine right now. Like there's nothing to worry about. I know that I'm taken care of, and I need to be okay with the way that I'm receiving the money that I'm receiving, which is not by earning it, but it's by borrowing it. And I know that that's okay. I just need to allow it to show up the way it is showing up at this moment, knowing that in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, there's going to be more than enough to pay all of that back. So that's the way that I'm thinking, that it's fine. It's absolutely fine. So is this the correct thought process in my situation, and I guess in many other people's situations where they're living off borrowed funds?
This is much of what is being of the experience in your linear of the timescape. But when you are understanding that you are not existing in of a linear timescape, then you begin to be of the realizing that you are in a more of a spherical time-space continuum, and therefore you can be moving to any location within this time-space dimensional continuum. Therefore, you and this of the moment are using resources that are much of the benefit for you and are there available for you to be of the using. But if at any moment you decided that, oh, I wish to be changing this situation, you do not need to necessarily be of the waiting for the linear time-space to be of the catching up. You can be jumping to wherever you wish to be jumping too, and therefore you can be receiving other of the, what you'd be calling of the funds at any time that you wish to be receiving those funds. So you can be much more able to move through dimensional time and space to be able to meet any of the requirements that you are wishing to have materialize into your world, into your of the experience. And therefore, you don't have to be of the worrying, because you can move in any of the directions that you wish to be moving in. Your form of the worrying for others, the form of the worrying is because what you are feeling is trapped in a linear time space. Therefore, if you are wanting some more of the, what you'd be calling of the money resources in this moment, then you have to do certain things and be on a certain timeline to be of the receiving. And what we mean by this is that if you wish to have one of the experiences of the dollar experience, then you need to be doing one thing to be of the receiving of this, and therefore this takes of the time for the receptivity to be of the appearing. But when you are not working in of a linear time space, then you can be thinking in this of the moment that I am requiring more of this quality of energy that you'll be calling of the money, and you can have it nearly of the instantly appear. Well, you can actually have it of the instantly appear, but you can have it appearing much more of the fasterness. So in your case, Miss Eleni, you are understanding that just because you are utilizing one linear time frame, one linear time reality to be experiencing of your abundance, you can be shifting at any moment to be experiencing of abundance in many of the different ways, an infinite number of the different ways. So therefore, there is never a time to be of the worrying that you might be of the running out, because in this linear time space, you are thinking that the worry comes from, but what if I'd be of the running out? What if I no longer have the opportunity to be of the experiencing this existence through this, what you'd be calling of the borrowing? But when you're in of the spherical nature, you know that this abundance, this materialization can come from many different spaces, many different time frames, many different instances, and it can be of the appearing in this of the moment, any time that you are wishing. Therefore, you do not need to be of the worrying.
Perfect. It's exactly the way that I see things, Ameed. And that was a beautiful confirmation that I needn't worry about it all. It's all taken care of. It's all fine. But to what extent can that be like to our detriment if we just like sit back and it's like it's all taken care of? Like, can that be to our detriment in terms of, I'm not quite sure what the words are, but is there a downside to just relying on the universe to provide when it's divine timing?
What you are much of the referring to is how you are playing in of the resonant frequency in regards to this of the experience. If you are participating in of the resonance and you are in of the momentum state of moving in and towards your what you might be calling of your dreams and of the desires, then there is nothing to be of the worrying about. But if you are choosing to be of the what you might be thinking of the retreatingness, being of the not wanting to be or wishing to be of the involvement with this process, then yes, this can be of what you're calling of the detrimental, because in some respects you are pulling back from the resonant frequency energy and the infinite of the possibilities. And if you are pulling back from the infinite of the possibilities, then you are getting yourself being trapped into one dimensional reality or another. If you are then trapping yourself in of the linear dimensional reality, and you are deciding that I am not going to be doing anything, I am just going to be putting my handies in the air and just going, the universe will just do whatever it does, then this is what will exactly happen, because your resonant frequency is one of, oh, well, not going to do anything, and I'm just going to slow my momentum down and my vibration down and my resonant field down, and therefore this is what will be then reflected back to you, which is I am going to be of the nothingness, and then you are sharing that resonant field of the nothingness, and then you are getting of the nothingness. And then you are wondering, well, why am I getting of the nothingness? Because I am here trusting in of the universe, that the universe will take care of me. And it's like, and then you are wondering why the nothingness is coming. And this is because, as you are, much of the awareness is the universe is responding to your resonant frequency. If your resonant frequency is in of the nothingness, then you will be receiving exactly what you are being asking for, what you are resonating with. But when you are in of the momentum state, working in of a spherical dimensional reality, then you are moving to whichever space in that dimensional reality that you are needing to be a materialization, a manifestation of those things that you are wishing. So you must be in a partnership with the universe. You must be working with the universe. The universe is much of the responding to your resonant frequency. If your resonant frequency is of non-momentum, which really in this of the case is a fear state based resonant frequency, or much of the anxiety and the worry state resonant frequency, where you are much of the frightenedness to move forward, much of the frightenedness to continue your momentum state, then of course you will be receiving exactly what you are putting out in a resonant frequency point of the view. And you are not then working with the universe. You are just giving up of your resonant field into the universe and saying, universe, you just look after everything and you just do everything. And then the universe looks back at you and does of the shrugging of the shoulders and goes, well, we are just being of the responding to your resonant frequency. And if your resonant frequency is sitting there of the nothingness, then the only thing that the universe can be of the responding to is of the nothingness. And then you are wondering why nothingness is of turning up. But this is the resonant frequency you are putting out into of the universe. So this is what you are receiving. Whereas if you can be in of the momentum state, and this is much different to of the action state where you are doing busy all of the time. This is not this is not of the same energetic quality. Momentum state and action state are very of the different quality of resonance states. You must be of the remembering this. Momentum is where you are moving of your resonant frequency into the spaces that you need to be in. And some of you will consider of the confrontation of the self, confronting of the fears and of the hesitations and of the worries and of the concerns and of the things that you are saying in of your headness. And you are moving towards these things. You are moving towards these things with an effort of moving through these experiences of universal and through the theme park. This would be much like if you go into the theme park and you decide to yourself, well, I'm just going to stand still here in the theme park. And then you are kicking and screaming because you're going, but I want to experience the roller coaster and I want to experience the merry-go-round. And we would be saying to you, but you have to actually be stepping onto the merry-go-round to be experiencing the merry-go-round. And you would be saying to me, I'm not going to do this. I am going to just stand here and I'm going to kick in of the screaming and expect the universe to move the merry-go-round to me and then to pick me up all by itself the self and then place me on the merry-go-round and maybe even just be wiping my forehead because now I've used of the exhaustion of not doing anything. This is the unreality of the existence of the universe.
What you've just said is really fascinating. The difference between the momentum state and the action state. Very, very interesting. And so the momentum state, can the momentum state be a state of being where you are feeling into where it is that your soul is drawing you to go and you are going, you are going, but you're not trying to work out, you're not trying to think, you're not trying to effort, but you are just flowing along. So it's not consciously taking action, it's just flowing along with the next opportunity, the next thing that comes up. Is that the momentum state?
You are being much of the getting this, Miss Eleni, that your momentum state is like you are being of the saying, is that you are moving with the flow of the energetic construct and the resonant fields that are existing in and of the through you. So you are not stopping, you are not necessarily pushing against of the river flow. You are going with of the river flow, but you are going with of the momentum of the resonant field construct. When you are being in of the action state, you are sitting in of the river and you are much paddling, very much of the fastness and trying to be faster. This is much of the exhausting state, and most of the time when you are doing of the action state, you are trying to be paddling of the opposite way to the river. most of the time when we see you are playing in of the action state, you are trying to either be a crossing of the river and going to one of the banks, or you are trying to paddle of the up through the river and not go into of the flowness of your resonant field, of that soul aspect that is speaking with you and asking you to step into this momentum state of reality, this momentum state of truth. You are trying to paddle the opposite of direction. And this is where you start to be wondering, why am I so of the exhausted, Ameed? Why am I so of the anxious and of the worried and of the fear state, Ameed? And we are saying to you that this is one of the reasons that you are entering into this space.
Okay, got it. Wow, that was fascinating. Thank you so much. I loved this discussion. Another big aha moment there. So thank you so much, Ameed.
Much of the loveness, and we are much of the joyful that we are able to be of the speaking and of the connecting and of the sharing of the resonant frequencies. We are much of the love and much of the joy, much joy. Hello there. Wow.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. Now I'm feeling good. That seemed quite uplifting. That's how I'm feeling after
Yeah.
that. Sometimes I feel really heavy and tired and
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh my God, that was huge. And sometimes I feel like more uplifted. I don't know, whatever you were speaking about seems to be more, I don't know, elevated or uplifted. I don't know.
Yeah, that was really interesting
Was it?
where she talked about. So what we're really talking about here is surrender, non-doership, action, momentum, and what she
Yeah.
said was that the momentum state is different to the action state.
Mm,
We confuse the two. We think that we need to be taking action in order for the universe to co-create with us.
mm,
It's not the action that we need to take. We just need to have momentum.
mm.
So what I'm feeling is that when something arises and my soul wants is
Yeah.
is aligned with that, I'm
Yeah.
going along with it, almost flowing along
Correct.
with it.
Yeah,
Not
that makes
not
sense.
staying retreated because I'm fearful, but
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about what the next thing is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just allowing the next thing. So as an example, I've got
Yeah.
4 retreats coming up. I have done retreats for such a long time. And
Yeah.
today I've signed up to go to Africa next February.
Nice.
So,
Beautiful.
and really it was just a calling. It wasn't me
Yeah. Yeah.
searching, researching,
Yes.
nothing like that. It's just coming to my field and it was like, ask soul, what does soul want to do? And like, soul's like, yes, this is it. You
Yes.
just do
Yes.
it. So
Yeah.
that's momentum as
Nice.
opposed to thinking and action, trying to
Yes.
work it out yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think the momentum, as you're saying, is like following the energy. Do you know what I mean? Following the energy, and that state I find is doesn't take energy or effort. Do you know what I mean? Because you're just sort of going with what it's calling you to do.
Mm.
And maybe, and whereas the action thing is desperately trying to make it happen, make things happen, and often it's actually trying to make the wrong thing happen. Do you know what I mean? Because of whatever psychological belief. When I was in the corporate world, I thought, yeah, that's what I should do based on my parents' expectations. So I think I was paddling definitely the wrong way, or desperately doing lots of action, lots of energy, because I was trying to keep away maybe from the flow, the soul thing. And then eventually, of course, I got sick and the soul won, and I had to go with the flow. Like I had no choice but to go into that momentum state and allow that to carry me to wherever it did, which is obviously here and channeling and all sorts of crazy stuff that I never thought I would have. Do you know what I mean? I think that's more of a momentum state than an action state.
Yes. And what's interesting is like you hear about non-doership,
Yeah,
not doing, not taking
yeah,
action. It's the first time I've actually heard momentum state. So
yes,
it's not like, so it's you're not doing nothing, you're just
correct.
flowing with the
Correct,
energy.
correct. Because I think you can probably get caught in that. Oh, don't do anything. Be in that,
Mm.
and then there's almost a resistance, because then if something does come up that wants you to move, you almost start resisting that. No, I've got to just sit and omni and meditate and do nothing type of thing. And it's like, okay, well, that's not going to work either.
No,
That's
that was
not going to work either.
it's
So
really
anyway,
good. really good
Yeah.
to consider that, that surrendering does not mean retreating.
No, no, no. Just follow the energy. That's my rule of thumb that I try to live by. Follow the energy, and the energy will draw you to where it needs you to be next, and that's the momentum. And you just stay in that state of momentum and flow towards those things that it's calling you to move towards.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
then
I
the
love
rest doesn't really matter, what you're using or what things doesn't matter. Just follow that, because it will always lead you to the most harmonic, expansive, resonant state. So then it can't but not provide whatever, or lead you to where the provision is to allow that to happen.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
exactly.
cool. That's exciting.
Wonderful.
Yay.
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 Thank you so much, Marcus. That's
Oh,
just really interesting about just allowing ourselves to not be stagnant, just
mm,
allow ourselves to flow with the energy and be in
totally.
that momentum state, because you need to
Mm,
be actually in a momentum state for the universe to mirror you and then say, oh, so this is
yeah,
this is what you want. This is, as opposed to, well, you don't want anything, you're retreated, so I
yeah,
just
yeah.
showing you what you're showing me.
Yeah, and it's a way to work with the universe, because everything in the universe is in momentum, not in action, but in momentum, right? All the planets are in a momentum state where they're all moving in flow and harmony with each other, right down to our atoms and molecules. Our atoms are all moving in that way. They're all in momentum.
Mm,
They're not in action.
love it. I love it. Follow
Yay,
the heart, follow the soul,
yay. That's it.
and trust that all you need to do is flow down the river. You
Yep,
don't need to try and paddle the other way around or
don't do that.
change the course of direction. You just
Don't do
flow
that.
down the river.
Just flow down the river. Sounds
And
good.
who knows where it's going to take you and what magic will unravel as a result.
Generally, it'll take you to the place that you couldn't even dream of.
Mm,
That's where it'll take you if you allow it. So
yeah,
more than you could ever have dreamt. So there you go.
beautiful. I love
Yay!
it.
Thank you everyone
Thank
for
you.
watching and for sharing this
Yep.
beautiful message. So yay!
Thank you, Marcus.
See you soon. Ciao.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to Galactic Guidance. We hope that the messages that you receive from the higher realms have brought you clarity, insight, and comfort. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Remember to stay connected to your own inner guidance and trust the journey ahead.